This is ACOFAE. Laura Marie and Jessica Marie proudly present A Court of Fandoms and Exploration, a podcast. Fair warning, everything the hosts say is explicit, full of spoilers and adult content and shall not be used against them. They have opinions. Let's try not to drag anyone for expressing themselves and just have fun for an hour. We all deserve it.
This episode contains spoilers from Wicked Act 1, with mentions of Hamilton, Chicago, and the Tortured Poets Department. For full list, please see show notes.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to A Court of Fandoms and Exploration, your weekly deep dive into the fantasy, literature, and fandoms that we love. I'm Laura Marie.
And I'm Jessica Marie.
And today we are continuing with pop culture poetry by really diving into the lyrics of Wicked Part 1.
Which, as we may or may not know, Wicked, these lyrics are by Stephen Schwartz, but it's based off of the book Wicked by Gregory Maguire, which is the prequel to the Wizard of Oz series by L. Frank Baum.
Jessica Marie.
Laura Marie.
What is your history? What is your background? What is your experience with Wicked?
None. That is my experience. None until the last, 3 months. I've avoided it. I avoided the Broadway. The Wizard of Oz was one of my favorite movies growing up, and I didn't want it tainted, I guess. I don't know if that's the right way, but then I would see everybody talking about it and how great it is and all this hype, and not to be a pick-me, but I loved Wizard of Oz so much that I was worried that this Wicked was this wonderful thing that wasn't going to live up to my expectations. So I avoided it. I avoided spoilers. I avoided everything. The only thing I ever knew was the commercials that they would, if you watch TV or if you listen to the radio, they have Broadway commercials, especially if you live in the tri-state area, about for Wicked. And I heard Idina's, either The Wizard and I or Defying Gravity pitches. And that's all I would hear. That's all I knew. I knew not even broad strokes. I knew that. And I also knew that you have loved it. And I have another friend that he had seen it in previews in LA. He had seen it with the whole original cast at least 10 times. Here, he was at the stage door. He was getting lotto tickets. He has things signed. This is his favorite Broadway as well. So these are the bare bones. Nobody has broken it down for me until, per usual, our lovely Laura Marie took the time. She's like, no, this wonderful play means so much to me. I don't think you understand the depth of it. I am going to curate this musical to what I think would work best for you. And Laura had picked out certain song selections to get a general idea. And then we dived through the lyrics one Friday, actually, and you were just sending them to me. And I like to read the lyrics as I'm trying to learn, hear something new. And I'm sending pictures of her sobbing. I don't even have the full context. And I'm just crying. And she's like, if you thought those would make you cry. And she hits me with a big whammy, which we're not even going to really get into because that's part of Act 2. And now I just sometimes put on the crying songs when I really need to cry. Laura, how about you share yours and how it came to be? Because mine's very bare bones.
Well, your bare bones experience, I have a follow-up question to it. Just one. It's a very quick yes or no. Jessica Marie, did you sob in the movie theater?
In the first 30 seconds.
Okay.
Was incredible. It was I still have a smile on my face. I've shared it with my niece. We bought it on Amazon. I have to buy it for myself now. I'm listening. I was crying today when we were final preps for this episode. So I was like, this is so good. It's so deep.
Okay. Just so everybody is aware of where we all stand.
It's like Laura's like, oh, what is going to break? Like, what breaks my heart? Yeah, if this is gutting, like, we can gut each other emotionally. I need somebody to be gutted with. And that's what we did. And I'm so glad she did, because the best things come from Laura. Like, just, I've said it once, I've said it again, and I'll say it a million times after. Trust Laura. Trust the process. She has yet to steer me wrong, because when I don't, I'm just miserable for longer.
I'm looking at Act 1. I did not give you every single song. I picked, I think
no,
4
you didn't. You gave me
5.
4.
Yeah, 4 specific ones.
Yeah, you gave me 3 or 4 songs. You didn't even give me Dancing Through Life. You gave me like 3 or 4 songs. And one of those songs was from Act 2. So I really didn't know. And even with one of the songs, Something Bad Is Happening in Oz, I didn't realize. I was like, are the animals like a metaphor? And you were like, no, there's actually animals. I was trying to like, because I had no concept of what was happening. Oh, okay.
Okay, so my experience with Wicked is different, but still very valid. This is so funny. The first time I saw Wicked, I was dragged to it, kicking and screaming by my mother. I was not at an age or a place at the time to give a single shit about this. At all. Did not care. That curtain went up. I cared. Oh, did I care? Oh my God, did I care? Here's the thing, Jess, you and I have talked about accessibility in a lot of our episodes, but specifically, we've talked about accessibility when it comes to Broadway. Mm-hmm. And it is easier now to watch the bootlegs, to have people, I mean, obviously don't do this, but people like film in the, don't do that, but people like film in the theater, like now. So it's like higher quality. There's ways through the internet that you are able to see Broadway, legally or not. I'm just saying it's out there.
Well, and through New York, I'll say through the New York Public Library. If you're local, they have an archive of performances of like you can't take them out, but you can watch them there. So again, that is specific to New York. If you have, sign up for a library, keep libraries funded, y'all. But it's so small. It's so minuscule. I mean, we're lucky that Hamilton is streaming on Disney Plus, and that's the original cast, But even when I think we talked about it even in our Chicago episode, that was a Broadway that they made into a film. So there is a small accessibility that not everybody has that opportunity to either travel, or even if you're in the area, it's expensive. It is expensive. And not everybody has that flexibility to apply for the lottery or apply for a student rush or tickets that you can get $25. It's not that easy.
So it is then understandable that, 20 odd years ago or so, that Laura of the time was like, what the fuck is this? I don't care about this at all. I care about The Wizard of Oz like marginally. Why would I care about this? 5 minutes in. It is incredible. Here's the thing I'm talking about with accessibility too. Broadway goes on tour, so you have like this, you get another like chance when it tours nationally to see these shows. And the second time that I saw the show, so I saw it in Chicago and I saw it in Detroit.
You saw the Chicago one?
I saw Chicago and I saw Detroit.
Oh,
wow. Wonderful. Everything was fantastic. Here's the thing. That first show was, obviously it was not the original cast, but the first show was indescribable, because I was like actively like, this is lame, right? I was with my mom. I was not in the place. I was like, this is lame. And talking about accessibility, sitting down in that chair and seeing people right in front of me sing at that level was astonishing, because at that time, especially like the second time when I saw it, I've seen it 3 times. I saw it with editor Sam in Tampa.
Oh.
Hot damn. Hot damn. So I've seen it 3 times in Tampa. But that second time, I was like really interested. I was like so ready, like the music, everything. But that first time, these were like regular people. I didn't know them as like celebrity people. These performers in front of me.
It's just talent.
There's just talent.
Yeah.
I had absolutely no idea who these people were. They were not, to me, these like famous people. It was just like people, normal people to me that could sing their fucking faces off. And if you know anything about me, I want to be able to sing more than anything, and I cannot hold a note. So to watch these people right in front of me sing their fucking faces off and sing notes that I had never heard before in person was eye-opening and just astonishing. It was absolutely astonishing. So the other times when I went back, I mean, obviously I got the album and I learned all the words and I did all of the work. But that first experience, it was like, you know that like in cartoons where they're like sitting there and like there's you're like watching something on the screen and then like your face just starts to like slowly melt off, right? That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. Like the light was just like melting the skin off my bones. It was just so incredible to be in the room with that kind of talent. And the talent is like obviously the entire production, but I'm speaking of like the singing. But what they are singing, Jessica Marie, are words. And those words are the lyrics that we are going to talk about. And before anybody has any doubt, yes, I sobbed the entire way through Wicked. I sobbed the entire fucking time. As soon as it started and I heard the opening notes, I went, and I didn't stop the whole time. And it was embarrassing for myself, for editor Sam, for everyone around me. I tried very hard to not make too many horrific noises. I didn't succeed. I have since seen it again and made those same noises in the same places, not as intensely, because I knew it was coming, which is also, I think, part of it. But hot damn. So here's what I have to say when we're talking about the lyrics of Wicked. I am very intimidated by music. I don't enjoy learning about music. It is too similar to math and language for me, and it is just out of my comfort zone. Okay. That being said, it is difficult to separate the lyrics on the page from the music in the way that we kind of sing it. And doing that, I think you lose a lot of the nuance of everything.
Oh, as opposed to like just reading through like a poem, or like how when we were talking about with Tortured Poets Department, where like I think Peter was the good example, where you were like the up and down of Peter. You kind of marry the two lyrics with the music?
Not exactly. I think more that because this is a Broadway production, we have to really tip our hats to acting. Mm-hmm. The acting is so important, as is the way that you sing a song. As our queen, Kristen Chenoweth, has said, the higher that Galinda sings, the more untruthful, the more dishonest she's being. And the lower that Galinda sings, the more truthful she's being. We know that. But if you are looking at the words on the page, you don't know that. So you are losing a lot of nuance there. And when I'm talking about acting, right, like something that it is incredibly difficult. I'm talking about specifically the movie when I'm saying this, just because it's fresh in everyone's mind. When we're talking about the opening of No One Mourns the Wicked, there is that time where Ariana is singing, Galinda is singing, and then our munchkin goes, "No one mourns the wicked," and she whips her head around like, "Bitch, what'd you say?" That's acting. And we don't know that. And we do not know her internal struggle or her feelings if we are looking solely at the words on the page until Act 2, which is interesting because this opening is like this overarching bookend story situation where we start off in the in present day and then we go into the past, and so it is all very, very interesting here. So then here is my statement. No One Mourns the Wicked is a fucking banger of an opening. And when you're talking about the music of it, I get chills. And when I'm reading it on the page, it's fucking sinister.
Would you say, I don't want to say like, oh, is this a strong opening? It's a strong opening. It hooks you. But I think it goes to say with the acting. I think there's so much that you see in the facial recognition and the storytelling that Glinda, I'm going to say Glinda, I don't know if I'm going to use them interchangeably, that Glinda says with this part of the song is it's part of the role that she's playing. But we don't know that until later in the story. Because again, flash forward to Defying Gravity, and she's kind of a prisoner in this hellscape that she's, I don't want to say agreed upon, but it's part of like a survival tactic in the politics at play.
Yes. But again, words on page is very different from acting and like we're just looking at like all of these songs, right? So when you go through it and we're looking like No One Mourns the Wicked, right? Good news, right? Good news. Look, it's Glinda. Let us be glad, man. Like, let us be grateful. And here's also something that I think we really need to say up front if you are kind of unfamiliar with Wicked. In the lyrics of all of these songs, there are made up words. It is just, they are there. We are in Oz. Oz is different. It's a different like world. As part of that difference, they have different words. An example is Glinda, let us rejoicify that goodness could subdue. Okay, so I think then, because this opening, when I'm looking, it says someone in the crowd, another person, man, woman, all. So we're getting like all, this is a big community that is saying all of this stuff. No one cries they won't return. No one lays a lily on their grave. Here's my point. The good man scorns the wicked. Jess, what are we talking about when we talk about good?
It's the concept of good. It's I think it's not just the concept, it's the perception of good. I think perception, is the stronger word here. And the perception that is acceptable to the public. That's really because, later, I mean, we know this through dialogue, not so much through the lyrics, but there is a priority that the, authority figures look to Glinda as, you're good. This is very good of you. This is what you should be doing. You're being very compliant with what we have going on. Thank you for this. And Glinda she's a people pleaser, but I feel like it's so much deeper than that. We don't know that, like, I specifically don't know the depth of the trauma that she might have gone, the survival, and there's an acceptance. I think it goes with anything about, and I want to kind of touch a little bit about it when we discuss popular, but there is what's the expression? Like, eat or be eaten kind of thing. And Galinda's going through that. And we find out in the story how she's going to navigate that through the lyrics.
We do. And how she has navigated is she becomes Glinda the Good Witch, because good is really associated with the wizard, right? And nice and kind are, similar words, but are not associated with the wizard. They are words that Glinda and Elphaba use for and to and about each other. And I find that very interesting. Now, when we're talking about Wicked. We're talking about part 1, specifically the movie, because Jess has not seen the Broadway, which is interesting and fun and very exciting, and one day will be remedied, and is something that I am very excited for you to do, like, after you see part 2.
I learned one spoiler,
I
and I was like, what? And I was shooketh. I'll tell you a story after. I was like, fuck, man. Fuck. I was so, I would not, I'm sure with, like, you know, putting our thinking caps on at some point with our reading comprehension, that I would have gone back, and I'm like, and I picked up on it with lyrics from one of the songs in Act 1. I was like, it was right fucking there, but I didn't know. I would not have known. And I'm really mad at myself. Granted, the Broadway's been out for like almost 20 years. I can't believe I had avoided that spoiler. Just like people, spoilers on everything. Spoilers on all your socials, y'all.
Spoilers on all your socials, all. Here's something I want to point out. There's a lyric change. And I think a lyric change is really important when we're talking about this, because in the Broadway, and I'm pointing this out because it's in our opener here, No One Mourns the Wicked. In the Broadway, when Elphaba is being born, we have, you know, Sweet Oz, what is it? What's wrong? How can it be? What does it mean? We have here midwife. It's atrocious is what the Broadway is. It's atrocious. In part 1, Wicked, the movie, the lyrics say she's uncanny. Okay? That is because in the movie, the midwife here is an animal. And it is the animals that show a lot of compassion to Elphaba. So this is here just kind of building this idea that Elphaba is not seen as anything bad or wrong to the animals, only to the humans. And that is a clear and distinct lyric change for a reason between the Broadway and the movie. And it's interesting to point out, and just kind of builds this, like, she's different. There's nothing wrong with her. She's just different, and you're not accepting that difference.
Which sets up, arguably, all of the for the whole, for everything. Because she's different, that must, I mean, it was so easy where we go to Act 2, or at the end of Act 1, that she is, because she's always been quote unquote bad. She's always been the wicked one. And I'm saying that in quotes. And it's easy to put a target on someone who's different.
Yes. Yes. And we are learning all of this because Glinda is desperately trying to control this crowd and be like, yo, she had a childhood too. She had a mother. She had a father. She had, like, secrets. Things were going on there. It couldn't have been easy. But what does everybody is no one mourns the wicked. Now at last she's dead and gone. Now at last there's joy throughout the land. And Glinda's like, well, fuck. All right, goodness knows. Goodness knows.
And as her pitch is increasingly higher, and the layers, again, like, if you look at it as like a poetic structure, you're having the one conversation of, like, this crazy chaotic crowd. And Glinda is one singular voice in a loud, destructive crowd. And that singular voice is being drowned out. And it's the wrong voice. Like, hers is the right voice, arguably. She knows the truth. She knows the intent of her best friend. And she's being muffled and muted through this.
Glinda, is it true that you were her friend? Here's the thing. I don't know if anybody couldn't pick up on this or not, but Glinda's my bitch. I love her. Glinda, she's my girl. I adore her. And she does that. She goes, yeah. Yes. Ariana's like, yes. Kristen is like, yes. Everyone is like, yes. Sam was like, just kiss during Loathing. screaming it. But she's like, yeah, she was my friend. I mean, shit. We
went to school together.
We went to school together.
Each other.
Yeah, we our paths did cross at school. And then we have Shiz introducing school to us and all of that. That is wonderful. Dear old Shiz, just talk to me a little bit about...
We're going to make me talk about Appa, no thoughts. Meh. For no, dear old Shiz. But I mean, that's because I was like, okay, this is the introduction of the school. The school that, I mean, we learn magic. It is our magic university.
Yeah, it's our magic university. That is on paper. That is what we have. Through other things, we can kind of like infer where part 2 is going to take us. But on paper, we are at magic school, and magic school looks like it fucking slaps. What can you tell me about The Wizard and I?
The Wizard and I was one of the songs that you had shared to get me into like wicked vibes. Cause you're like, I'm not going to go into this shit solo. I've been riding solo for far too long. So we're going to do this. And I'm reading the lyrics. I'm looking at it. It was before the theatrical movie came out. And for this episode, I did the original Broadway cast. I did not stray to the movie. I did because we wanted to keep to the Broadway and its lyricism. And it is Elphaba, our Green Witch, who has this idea of who the wizard is. The wizard, this man, can fix all my problems. Everything is going to be fine once I meet him. We're going to become besties. He's going to be the only one who gets me, understands me, and because he'll understand me, everybody will understand me, and then I'll be accepted. And then maybe he'll turn me into like a non-green color. Not that I don't mind. I'm trying to like own that I love who I am, but also it would be kind of nice to fit in. You know, anybody who's been different in any way, we'd be lying to ourselves if there isn't a point in our lives where at some point you're just like, I just want to blend in. I just want to be accepted. I just want to be part of the quote unquote cool kids, popular crowd, because life is easier that way. And she hasn't always had it easier because we don't know this from the lyrics so much. Oh no, we do know it from the lyrics from the Oz Dust Ball that she has a sister. Her sister is different. And we know that Elphaba blames herself, and so does her father, that her sister is just as different and holds that to. So she's just like, I just want to be included, and I don't want everybody looking at me, but again, it goes to having this acceptance from a man in a patriarchal world because the wizard oversees us, and there's a safety involved once she's accepted.
There is a part in this that always makes me tear up and makes me do my like thing. And that is any instance of where Elphaba says unlimited, anytime, but unlimited here. My future is unlimited.
I just realized that unlimited is a thread, how she was unlimited in this solo and alone. And then I'm going to cry. Hold on, give me a second. But then she's like, in defying gravity towards Galinda, it's no longer her being unlimited solo. It's together we can do this. We are an unstoppable force. If we are unlimited, we are unstoppable. We can do this. Oh my fucking God.
Sing for me the opening of For Good.
I haven't memorized the lyrics yet.
Limited.
It changed.
Just look at me. I'm limited. And just look at you. You could do all I couldn't do. It's a thread through the whole thing.
Oh my God.
It's the whole thing. Okay. So anytime Elphaba says unlimited or does a riff on unlimited, anytime, it really gets to me. But here breaks my fucking heart because she's so hopeful. And there's something about just like crushing hope, like there's another dream gone, that just gets me. My future is unlimited. And I just had a vision, almost like a prophecy. I know it sounds truly crazy. and true the vision's hazy, but I swear someday there'll be a celebration throughout all of Oz that's all to do with me. And that is what Galinda was doing in the opening. The celebration throughout all of Oz that is all to do with Elphaba. And it is burning her fucking effigy. And it is just this like, this moment of like, when you know, and you can't unknow. And so you get one good listen of where you're like, yes, and you're joyous and you're hopeful with her. And then after that, it's just this like, this roadmap of broken dreams and hopes and manipulated situations. And it is so sad. But when you're reading it on paper, it is hopeful. And you're just like, yes.
You bring up such a good point of it being, especially if you go in blind and you don't have a lot of context, you have that intro and it's just well, how did we get there? And you have that hope, the hopefulness in that first listen, and arguably only listen. Like once you hit it, like you're just like, oh shit. Wow. Like you want to be there for her and with her because you're like, yeah, bitch. Yes, you can.
What is this feeling?
It's our favorite enemies to lovers song.
Girls, just kiss. Please. Okay. I was thinking about this and I really want to make this point about the movie and then I'm going to be done. There are three instances in my entire life where I have been watching a movie and I have been in complete shock by what I have been seeing an actor do. Right? You're just like, oh my God, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. I can't believe they're doing this. I am blown away by this. The first time was Heath Ledger as the Joker. The second time was, I'm just Ken.
Really?
I could not believe that Ryan was doing that. I was in the theater. I had like my hands over my eyes. I was just like, my
his
mouth
former
was open.
Mickey Mouse Club really shone through.
I was like I was in shock that he was doing that. And then the third time was here with Ariana. When she was doing this, I was in my seat. I had this stupid smile on my face. My mouth was hanging open. I could not believe what I was seeing. The kicking, the noises that she makes, the like floofing with the thing, all of it. It was shocking in the best way because you don't see, obviously I've only seen it like twice before, me personally, where I was just like, oh my God. But I absolutely loved it. And of course, Loathing it's iconic. It's one of these songs. I mean, everybody knows Defying Gravity, but if you know Loathing, you know Loathing. And Jess, how do you feel about Loathing?
I love Loathing. And honestly, I think, just talking it out, like, yes, it's like this enemy song. They hate each other. They confront each other. But I also think it makes their friendship stronger because, obviously they do become friends, and then it makes their arguments and their disagreements. They don't have this mask over each other. They've seen the worst that they each can bring out. They've seen the worst of each other and they love each other despite of that. So it makes their arguments that much stronger that I can convey a point with you and you can still respect it. It's just great because again, even throughout, what is this feeling? It's just like, they're so exasperated with each other. And of course, Glinda the Good, everybody's like, oh, you're so good. You're so kind. You're such a martyr that you're putting up with this shit over here. And she's like, what? Because I'm different. Now I'm going to be better than you. I'm going to do everything to get under your skin because I hold the control. Now I get to do it just because it's bothering you. I lose nothing over it. I lose nothing over it because I'm the one who's getting the classes. I have what you want. I am not at a loss, but we know emotionally she is. We get there. Us as well.
And on paper too, you're just like, damn, Glinda. Okay.
you're obsessed.
You're jealous. Like you're jealous. You're jealous. Like, and if you're just looking at the songs on paper, you kind of have to infer that. And of course, like in the Broadway show, we have like the scenes that kind of like show that Glinda's not so great at the magic, and she is very jealous of Elphaba, who seems to have like a natural talent about all of this. So that's a huge part of it. But just if you're looking on the paper, you have to infer that. You're like, God damn, girl, maybe chill a little bit. Like, whoa. But it is though, it is integral to the plot because there is a lot going on into the plot because, Jess, I was telling you a story about how I was trying to explain the plot of Wicked to a friend and how it was difficult because there is a lot going on. It is the very intense female friendship that I learned not everyone has experienced in their life. I learned that recently. Not everyone has experienced an intense female friendship like this. You learn things.
I thought it was like one of those, I've never had, you know, on socials or for like, have I ever had an original experience? Like,
yeah, I thought that.
And then everybody's like, no, everybody has that. And you're like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. But then apparently not everybody has that.
I mean, who knew? Who knew? Not me. I thought everybody had very intense female friendships and then something happens and you have sort of like a friendship breakup and it's very intense and it's this whole thing. Apparently not. Who knew? Okay. Anyway, but as I was trying to explain Wicked to this person and I went through that vein, which was the wrong way to approach it, I guess.
Who knew?
Who knew? Who knew? I should have approached it, looking back, through the animal subplot. Because it's a subplot here. It's a simmering subplot here that really just like ramps up towards the end here. But it's introduced in the movie. It's introduced with Dinklage. Hey, in here it's introduced with Dr. Dillamon kind of singing to Elphaba about what's happening. Again, you only get one good listen of this because every other time you listen to this, you're just like, well, fuck.
I have a question. Remember how you cultivated my intro experience? I know our friend of show, Becky, she had texted me and she was like, I asked Laura to do the same thing that she did for you. Did you take it the animal approach with something bad?
I did. I threw that in there. I threw that in there because I think it's important. Here's the thing. It is kind of a weird subplot. I mean, the book is weird. Let's just throw that out. The book is fucking unhinged. The movie and Broadway show are the washed version of the book to make it very palatable, very like, female friendships.
Universal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody can find something to love here, right?
Okay. Yeah, I know. All I've heard is that the book is vastly different than the movie and the Broadway.
Yeah.
I know nothing else.
It is vastly different. So then I was like, let's do the animal plot because when you're looking at it, the lyrics, you only get one good listen, but also it is sad. It's one of these like hopeful moments because what is Elphaba saying towards the end? She's like, we need to tell the wizard. That's why we have a wizard. Like, he's going to fix all this so nothing bad can happen in Oz. And Dr. Dillman's like, yeah, sure. Nothing bad. Oh, okay.
Let's keep on. Let's hope. Let's hope that's what you're thinking because this is also the Elphaba that we know. This is only a couple songs after The Wizard and I. She's still hopeful. Like, we have this authoritarian figure head. He's the leader. He should keep us calm. He's the man of the people.
Yeah.
Government.
Yeah.
Am I right, folks?
Yeah. And my favorite part of that song, too, is when Alphabet ends it and she goes, "It couldn't happen here in Oz." Because, like, why would it happen in Oz? Oz is like a fantasy place. Like, she's saying that kind of like to us. It couldn't happen here in Oz. Why would that happen here? And Dillman's like, all right, yeah, all right, bet. But that and it turns very dark. But that plot is the like kind of grounding force that we have, because the light, airy female friendship that we have going on, like on top of this is hiding this simmering subplot of enslavement. I mean,
and silencing
a
group of individuals.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, obviously leads perfectly into, as if the person who arranged this didn't know what they were doing, please. It goes really perfectly into Dancing Through Life. Dancing Through Life, the song about your existential crisis, but it's just too damn catchy. So everybody's singing about how nothing matters, because knowing nothing matters. It's just life. Just keep dancing through.
Even going to the Oz Dust Ball. Life is pointless. Life is shit. We're all dust anyway. Mm-hmm. Let's, it's a fun song. It's a catchy song, but there's depth there. It's like, even one of the lyrics when they're like, life's more painless for the brainless. No thoughts, just vibes. Which is like great sometimes, but I feel like we've all been in situations where you're like, and Laura and I have discussed, we're like, life must be so easy when you're not anxious, when you're not the one thinking, when you're the only one thinking, why do I have to do my job and everybody else's? Like, can I get paid all everybody's salary? Because I have to do everything. What life must be like when you're ignorant, And that's kind of, he's like, well, we're all going to die. Might as well just have fun. I'm over it.
I am looking. So there's a specific lyric in Dancing Through Life that really hits me. So it's right here. Life is fraughtless when you're thoughtless. Those who don't try never look foolish. I always thought that was very poignant. And it was something that I saw a lot of when I was working in education. It's just like kids are really afraid to try and fail and look bad, so they don't. And so because of that, they don't take any risks, they don't grow, they stay very stagnant, right? And that, I think that's kind of like part of it too. Because down here,
it's the fear of it goes back to like how we were talking about acceptance and everything earlier. It's the fear of judgment from your peers and the fear of wanting to be accepted too. And I love my niece. I know I'm like that crazy aunt that talks about her a lot on the podcast, and sometimes I don't. But I've learned to push past myself being uncomfortable in certain public situations, because I don't want my fear to impose on the things that she enjoys. Like, she likes dancing in public. Come on, Aunt Joss, like, I don't want my fear of dirt, so I do it with her. It's because at that moment, it's not about everybody else. It's about her. And she's 5. And we talk about female friendships. We talk about how in a patriarchal society, things can be so oppressive for us. She's going to have so many things holding her back later. At least let her enjoy that now. And I don't want her to feed off of that nervousness that I might have. And I feel like that line kind of coincides with this of like what, like you said, you can be held back from your fears and uncertainties.
How do you feel about Nessa?
Nessa? Fucking Nessa.
How do we feel about Nessa?
Well, she's a shitty sister.
Yeah.
First and foremost, she is like, your sister has done nothing but stick up for your pathetic ass your whole life from being bullied. She was bullied as a kid. And Nessa is like, you're a problem. You're a real big. No, you're the problem, Nessa. Good. I hope that house falls on you twice.
Here's the thing. Finally, for this one night, I'm about to have a fun night with this munchkin boy.
She's so fucking terrible.
Galinda found for me. I only wish there was something I could do for her to repay her, Alphaba C. Bitch, you want to repay her all the shit that Alphaba does for you? Pfft, you do deserve each other, you and Bach. God, please. Okay, but here, Galinda. Here's the thing, Jessica Marie. Do you really think Galinda would have that hat if she didn't like it? Do you really? Do you really think Galinda would bring that hat to school if she didn't like it?
She is such a precise person.
Yeah.
She's not, she knows what she's packing. She has a heavy, and to have this hat that her peers started judging her immediately before she even got to say her opinion. Started judging her immediately. She couldn't even, she was like, it was like, what is it? Were you silent or were you silenced? It was a moment where she was like, I feel silenced because I am not amongst people who I trust, these people can kind of make or break me. And she's living in that fear to what Pharaoh is saying. She's just living in this fear. Mm-hmm. Oh, she loved that hat. She wanted to wear that hat so bad.
All right, I'm pointing this out because we're associating good and goodness with the wizard and his institution. You're both so smart. You deserve each other. So here, out of the goodness of my heart, she's doing something bad, right? She's making a bad choice. Out of the goodness of my heart. Other times she's nice. Other times she's kind. When she's doing something bad, she's doing it good.
Oh, well, and I guess, and this goes back to the lyrics because we know, and again, I'm referencing the theatrical movie, that scene, the Ozdus Ball scene with Alphaba, we don't know the depth of that just by looking at the lyrics.
Exactly. We don't have any of that just by looking at the lyrics.
There's like no context. You wouldn't know what the hat is, what is happening, what is transpiring once Alphaba wears that hat.
Yep. Because it ends and we don't know that there's any of that happening. What we do know is that there's a conversation between Nessa and Bach and Okay, first of all, Bach's an asshole. But it's in this song where he's like, I'm an asshole, but I'm not like that kind of an asshole. I'm this kind of an asshole. And I think it's very important that you know that I'm not this kind of an asshole because she's like, I know why you asked me here. He's like, you do. It's because I'm in this chair. He's like, what? No,
I'm an asshole, but
that's not even part of that.
Yeah.
What?
Because even again, lyrically, he sets it up to be like, look, I gotta tell you, this is Galinda actually told me to ask you. That's why we're doing this. I feel like it could have shaped into, but I think you're kind of cool. I'm glad that this happened. But then
he just went for it. He's like,
you're beautiful. Whoosh.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Because you're so beautiful. And she's like, all right, let's go. Bach, you're wonderful. We deserve each other. He's like, you know what? Why not? Let's dance.
Somebody is giving me attention.
Yeah, why not?
This tragically beautiful girl.
Yeah, this tragically beautiful girl is giving me attention. Why not? And then we're dancing through life. And that is the end of Dancing Through Life. Popular. Do we want to be popular?
I think again, it's great to be different, But there are moments where it'd be great to be popular. It'd be great to be favored. Who doesn't want that? Unless like everybody's like, I don't ever want that to happen to me. Why not? You can't say that a little external validation doesn't feel good. But there's one of the lyrics that I loved is it's so simple, but we know the depth of Glinda at this point. She was like, you can be popular. An assist from me. I know the politics at play behind this in order to get you for everything to work in your favor. And I feel like people think she's just like, oh, well, I mean, Elphaba says it. And what is this feeling? They're like, Glinda's trying to describe Elphaba, and Elphaba's like, wand. That's all. No, that is just one word. And there's layers and there's depth. And we see that in Popular. She's like, stick with me. I know all the little things. We know toss, flip. Here's the thing. This is, I will help you with, and it's not just, I'm going to let you be popular with the boys. Yes, she sings it lyrically. I'm going to help you with sports. I'm going to help you the social construct of this place.
Yeah. And again, this goes to like music. When you're listening to this song, she goes very high, obviously, but she's kind of like at a even kind of keel. She goes up and down to kind of like accent things, but she's not singing her fucking face off in her opera mode here. This is a very normal kind of song. So you know that she means it, is my point. But when you're looking at it on paper, you have no like idea if she means it or not. But you're like, okay, all right, this sounds like fun. It sounds like they're really going to be friends now, right? Elfie, now that we're friends, can I call you Elfie? It's wonderful. And then there is that moment where Elphaba freaks out at the end, and she's just like, oh my God, like I need to go. And that's when Glinda's like, I gotcha. And though you confess your disinterest, I know clandestinely, you're gonna grin and bear it, you newfound popularity. And then, of course, we know that in the movie, there's the added la la la's. In the Broadway, there's fewer la la la's. In the Broadway, there's going to be the movie la la la's. That has all been settled. But I know, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what that means. But it is, I think, that kind of, like on paper, popular, you're like, well, damn, all right, they're friends now. Let's see where this goes. And if you just look at the words, it does seem like a really quick, intense female friendship right here is solidified, because we don't have any other kind of context or building. But we go right into I'm Not That Girl, which is our like kind of other plot happening, because who can resist Fiyero?
I feel like I missed this part in the movie. Is this in the movie?
Yeah.
Definitely took a bathroom break.
Oh.
I was like, well, I had a 5-year-old with me one of the times.
Mm. There you go. That's
so
fair. Yeah.
I was like, I had to get like pizza. She was like, I want another pizza pie. I was like, another one? Okay. There was 10 minutes at my time, but it was always after Popular because I wanted her to see Popular. And then I was like, okay, let's go.
Well, yeah. So this is after she meets Fiyero in the wood. This is after the freeing of the lion. This is hands touch, eyes meet, sudden silence. This is, he has the cut and she like touches him. This is that after he like runs away. This is that moment. And this is, again, we have been talking about how hopeful Elphaba is this whole time. This is where she kind of puts her feet back on the ground, right? Don't dream too far. Don't lose sight of who you are. Don't remember that rush of joy. He could be that boy. I'm not that girl. Right? And then towards the end, blithe smile, lithe limb, she's who's winsome, she wins him. Gold hair with a gentle curl, that's the girl he chose, and heaven knows I'm not that girl. Again, highlighting the difference between herself and Galinda, but also like we're a little bit more grounded now. We're kind of back to reality. We're settled in school, and we are seeing that there are things that are not like easily achievable, right? Like, and also like first crushes. But this last part here, don't wish, don't start. Wishing only wounds the heart. I wasn't born for the rose and pearl. There's a girl I know. He loves her so. I'm not that girl. Let me tell you, Act 2 does a number on this and kind of woo. There's a little woo here, but it is, I think, when you're watching it the first time, you really feel for her. But again, it's kind of that thing you only get once when you're when you are hearing, watching, listening, reading it again. You're just like, well, this is kind of where everything is really coming to a point here. Because shit starts to get really, really, really real, because we're going to the Emerald City, baby.
One short day
in the Emerald City. Okay, there is.
I sang that too. I sang that to you the other day when I was on my way to work.
There is a lyric here that absolutely takes my breath away. Of course, this is, of course, just Glinda and Elphaba touring Emerald City before they go see the wizard. Okay, yes, it's Wizamania. It's the Wizamania chorus. Oh my god. Okay, who's the mage whose major itinerary is making all of Oz merrier? Who's the sage who sagely sailed in to save our posteriors? Who's enthused for hot air ballooning? Has all of Oz honeymooning? Woo woo! Isn't he wonderful? That is amazing to me. I don't know why. It's just very satisfying. It's satisfying to listen, to read, to look at. I don't know. But it is worth noting that there is a section of lyrics when you are watching the movie that is not included in the Broadway section. And that is because there is a surprise in the movie that is not in the Broadway for reasons that will become clear.
For reasons.
That will become quite clear. But, so there is, there's a difference there. And so in the movie with Ariana, and Cynthia, we have a little more exposition explaining kind of what is going on, and like explaining what the Grimoire is, and like why that's important, and like why the wizard is important. That does not exist in the Broadway.
I'm realizing that no mention again. This goes with context. If I'm looking at the paper, Grimoire, there's no mention of the Grimoire.
No, absolutely none. So, and of course, this is the Broadway. So yes, we don't have it. And then we just end, right? The wizard will see you now, day, woo. And then we go into my least favorite song, but it's also the shortest, which is fine. A Sentimental Man.
I put meh. But that's just because I know the wizard, and it's all bullshit.
Yeah. It's all bullshit. Yeah. It's all bullshit. He always wanted to be a father. All right, fine. It makes me feel so parental to see you on. What is the exact fucking line? It drives me nuts. And helping you with your ascent allows me to feel so parental, for I am a sentimental man. Yeah. I think that it is a critique of media literacy that a lot of people were not able to put two and two together between who Elphaba's father was and this fucking song where he's singing about being fucking parental the whole time. But that's its own thing. So let's talk about Defying Gravity, Jessica. What was this like for you?
Sobs, that's all. This is another one of the songs that you handpicked for my Wicked background, minimal knowledge experiences. And, it's weird because at first I thought it was a friendship breakup song, and you're like, it's more layered than that, really. They know the truth now at this point in the play, Act 1. They know the truth. And it's about what are they going to do? How are they going to approach it? There's different ways that we do that. It's one of the lyrics, she goes, I hope you're happy I hope you're happy now. They're going back and forth. By you acting this way, and this is Glinda talking to Alphaba, you're hurting the cause. Everything that we've worked for and that you've worked for and you've worked against, because you're the one who's faced adversity this entire time, your whole life. And now we can do this. We can do this on the inside. And Alphaba's like, no, I don't want it. Correction. No, I can't want it. Which I love that part because they're key words, because it's like, I do want it, but I can't anymore. This is so much bigger than me. It needs to be exposed, and I'm the target. I can't want that. I want to in my soul, but I'm changed. It's just like in me. I noticed that when we were when we knew we were going to discuss this, I was like listening to this line over and over again for this song. And then it also continues where she's like, I can't want it because things have to, obviously we know that things have to change. I'm flying solo. At least I'm flying. I am flying free. I'm doing it by myself, but I'm going to do it on my own terms, because this is how I'm going to take control of the situation. And because I also kind of want to, not because I feel like I have to.
I love this song because obviously if you're a longtime listener, you know my morals, ethics, and values are quite flexible. But Alphaba's are not. Alphaba's are not. And just as you say, like, when she starts off, we're just looking at words on paper. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of everyone else's game. I can't do this. Too long I've been afraid of losing love. I guess I lost. All right. I guess if that's love, it comes at much too high a cost. All of these things that she's saying, are things that she's like working through it all and just like, and telling Glinda, like, actually, like, processing all of this right now in front of you, I can't handle any of this. All of this I can't stomach any of this. How can you stomach any of this? This is wrong, and working under this is wrong, and I won't do this. And do you remember, Jessica Marie? Do you remember in the second book of Legendborn, Oathbound? What was it? Blood. Yes, that one.
Bloodmarked. I looked at myself. Bloodmarked.
When Bree goes and she, I guess, spoiler for book 2 of that, but when Bree goes and she just like burns up all those ancestors, right?
Yeah.
Right. And she's just like, nah, fuck this. I don't want any of this. I can't handle none of this.
No. Yes. Oh, that was like one of our favorite scenes too. She's like, I'm so over generational curses right now.
Yeah. She's like, fuck all y'all. But part of us were like, there are going to be consequences to that down the road. That's this moment here. Oh. That's this. Because it's like, fuck all of this. Fuck this institution. Fuck that man. Fuck what he made me do. Because we have Grimmery context when we're in the show and in the movie. We don't have that here. So we have like the monkey, we know that. We don't have it on paper. So on paper, it's just like, fuck this. Fuck this. Fuck you. And I am out. Are you coming with me? What can we do together? You and me, we can do fucking anything. Anything together. We are unlimited. Glinda, dreams the way we plan them. If we work in tandem, there is no fight. We cannot win. But no, Glinda's not going to come with you. She's not. I hope you're happy. Now that you're choosing this, you two, I hope it brings you bliss. I really hope you get it and you don't live to regret it. I hope you're happy. they're not screaming at each other.
No.
They're this is like a acceptance of like,
we're not going to change each other. Like, this is.
Yeah. This is it. This is it. Like, and it's breaking both of them, but neither is going to budge on this.
10 tattoos.
10 tattoos. This is one of those moments where it's like, I am going to do this. You're either coming with me or you're not. You're not. Then this is it. And like, I'll see you on, it's kind of like, all right, well, I'll see you on the fucking battlefield then. 'Cause there's nothing now.
Yeah, there's no compromise too. No. I do think, and again, this is the visual component. There's an aspect where Glinda was like, I think she could have, but she gets caught. And now she's like in the belly of the beast and she goes into survival mode. But you don't know that on paper. You know that with facial expressions.
Yes. Now, in the movie, Cynthia adds the unlimited riff when she is singing this, when she is up on her broom, you know, unlimited, unlimited, unlimited. That is not on paper. That is not in the Broadway show. It is beautiful, of course. You know how I feel about that.
I have chills just thinking about it. Like it just like amplifies the whole, and amplifies and elevates it arguably. Arguably, I'm sorry.
Arguably, but something that will never change. And nobody in all of Oz, no wizard that there is or was, is ever going to bring me down. Snap, 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 snap. That's the end of part one.
Chills
That's
again.
the end of part one. It is absolutely fantastic. It is absolutely amazing. Now, Jessica Marie mentioned that there are 2 cry songs that I gave her. One of them is my cry song, and the other one has become her cry song. And
it's not in this act.
Yeah. My cry song is Thank Goodness, which is the opening of part 2. That is my favorite song in the entire production of Wicked. I love it so much. There is a section that Glinda sings that just drops me to my knees every time I hear it. I love it. And then Jessica's cry song has become For Good.
For Good. I think I was like I think it was like 4 a.m. when I was in Hawaii a couple months ago. And I just like sent you a picture of me. You were like, how bad did you need to hear that? It's like, oh, such a bad time. I know. First world problems. I'm crying in Hawaii. I get that. But it was like, it was cathartic. It was sad. It was deep. There was a lot of things going on. But I can't listen to that song and not cry and not think of how special that song is. And I'm sure, assuming, whether y'all want it or not, we're going to do Act 2. I think that's our executive decision between the two of us. We're going to eventually follow up with an Act 2 for this down the line, because I still haven't even seen it. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, Laura, I know that Glinda is that girl. She's your bitch. And she is your complex female character. Is this the episode that you want to kind of deep dive into that a little bit more? Or you want to wait till we have more context? Or at least like how you want to set that up for us?
Oh, great question. Great question. I will not deep dive on it here just for time constraints, but I will just kind of mention that. Okay. So, all right. We all know that I love Miss Danica Fendir, right? Woo! We all know that. We all
our
know
fan club
Danica.
Too.
Speaking of my bitches, Danica is that one. All right. So, but people can't handle a complex female character. We know this. People hate Danica. People are, I think, kind of struggling with Glinda just a little bit because she's a sellout. She's weak. She can't do it. She doesn't have any all they're kind of dogpiling on her. But just as you've mentioned like several times, like there's a survival mode in there. There's a people pleaser. There is a I can see where this is going, especially in part. A lot of this plays out in part 2. A lot of my feelings play out in part 2 because part 1 is just very like fun and fluffy for most of it. And it's just kind of like the falling in love part. Right. And part 2 is kind of the like battle part of it. But it is okay for a incredibly feminine presenting person to also be complex, conflicted, kind of mean, a little bit bad, but also fun and have like she has like a tender heart and have like a tender heart. Like, here's my point. Women can be all of these things. You don't have to be a certain like way. Multifaceted is a thing. And it is, I think, difficult for people to really accept that when it is right in front of their faces. It's easy to say. It's easy to say, I love a multifaceted woman. I love complex female characters. But when they're presented to you and you don't love them, Daisy Jones, when you don't love them, you're like, oh, okay.
Well, I didn't mean like this. This isn't, it's, but that also goes into the hypocrisy that comes with the conversation too. And I know we've brought that up on our female friendship episodes and many of our episodes, arguably, that you want to pick and choose which complex female characters you want to make allowances for, and which ones you won't have a breath of a conversation and hear anybody else's perception of of the character.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, the movie kind of helps flush out all of their characters a little bit more, especially Galinda. So you get to see a little bit of her softer side and you get to see kind of a little bit more of what's going on. But we had we had a lot with Danica too, and people just don't. And we have a lot with Aelin, and people just don't. And we have a lot. Here's the other thing. Complex female characters can go both ways. You can be a villain and be a complex female character. You don't have to be like a force for good, or you don't have to be like kind of in the middle. You can be evil too, and be a complex female character. I just think that like putting everybody into a box is detrimental for everybody. And going back to what I was saying about, sometimes you can just be stagnant because you're afraid to grow and you're afraid to experience new things and fail. As we have been saying in 2025, it is important to reach out and kind of not limit yourself and find joy wherever it takes you. And if by chance your spark of joy has led you to this Wicked episode, I hope it leads you maybe to other Broadway, because Broadway is wonderful and it's a little bit more accessible, as we said. And there is really something to be said about the exploration of musical theater, because it was stigmatized for so long. And I think now that maybe Wicked has kind of taken it just like a little bit more mainstream in the right age of the internet with the right kind of people, that it can get a little bit more exposure and then kind of shine a light onto all of Broadway would be just kind of a wonderful thing going into, all we have to do is survive 2025
and beyond at this point. But I think it also goes to what we've said is the power of fandoms, because Wicked is at its success, like from a Broadway and from a theatrical experience, but arguably from the Broadway, because of the message and the depth and the lyrics that we're exploring. There is power in the fandom that allowed it to be the success that it is, that we're talking about today, that I have never seen it and I'm new to it. And it's very welcoming. It's not like, what do you mean you haven't seen it yet? Because of accessibility, a lot of people haven't seen it. And now we get to have the conversation and how fandoms put forth the excitement all over again and keep it fresh. So with that being said, feel free to follow us on Instagram. We're at ACOFAE podcast. And we're also on TikTok for the time being. I don't even fucking know anymore. ACOFAE Laura and ACOFAE Jessica. We'll figure some shit out. Happy 2025, maybe? Cool. Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Bye.